I believe that the St. Louis Blues would benefit if they tanked for the upcoming NHL draft.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen. Subscribe to Lock On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to the show. I am your host, Haley Taylor Simon. I have been covering the St. Louis Blues for the last 4 years, and we talk every single day here on the podcast about the Blues. I also do writing as well, covering the team. We have a lot to get into today here in Locked On Blues. And again, thank you for listening to the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to talk to you about why it is beneficial for the Blues to tank for the upcoming draft. I asked you on social media to tell me one positive from the season so far. We're going to react to that. And then finally, it is almost trade deadline time. It is coming up. We have the Olympics in a little over 2 weeks, but I know what's heavy on our mind is that trade deadline, and we're going to dive into that. Before I continue on, I want to thank you for listening to Locked On Blues, and more specifically, the Locked On Podcast Network is the #1 podcast network. So appreciate that when it comes to sports talk. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so that way that you are up to date with whenever I drop an episode, again, which is Monday through Friday. When it comes especially to me, to my mind, about what the Blues can do to be successful this season, it's not necessarily winning games. It is the opposite, and it is tanking for the draft. I feel like for you and I, we don't want to see our team lose time and time and time and time again. Last night's loss to Winnipeg was ugly, okay? It was not a good game. But with that being said, you lose to the worst team in the Central. Yeah, there's a really big issue. And we know that there is a big issue with this team, but in my opinion, it is a January 21st, and you're not getting any better. So I feel as if this team should tank at this point because you don't want to get a draft pick that's going to mean nothing. You don't want 12th overall. You don't want 14th overall. You don't want any of the draft picks, in my opinion, that are quote unquote garbage picks. I think for the Blues, and the best way for them to be successful this season is to actually lose out. I'm not saying that this team should lose every single game. I mean, that is statistically almost impossible. But I do think that if you're going to, and we're going to get into this later in the show, but if you're going to get rid of players, might as well do it now. This team doesn't really have much going for them. And that's why it was really interesting when Ott was sent down to be the head coach of the T-Birds. I mean, Steve Ott, great hockey mind, but it does speak volume that they would rather see him with the young kids in the AHL, help them develop and learn some skills rather than him stay up here behind the bench for the Blues. I think that this is going to be a season where a lot actually does change. I think that this is going to be the last bad season. This draft, I am interested in a couple people, one of which is Gavin McKenna out of Penn State. But then we also have Otto's brother, Ivor Stenberg. And we're going to have both Will James and Sportsology on the show to talk about the two players. And I know Russ is going to give me a whole list of prospects, which I am excited about because prospect talk is one of my favorite talks because it's so optimistic and positive, and it really makes you believe things can change. But I think for you and I, we're watching this team struggle day in and day out. We're not seeing any success. Yes, there might be moments where we're watching some games and we see a great performance by an Otto Stenberg, by a Jimmy Snuggerud, and by a Dalibor Dvorsky. But I think that overall, the general consensus can be this. This is a team that is unable to find, for whatever reason, a mojo, right? A rhythm, ironically, I know. Rhythm and blues, ha ha ha. No, literally. And in last night's contest, the Blues ironically outshot Winnipeg, but the Blues were just only able to get one goal in net, and that came from a power play from Jordan Kyrou. And Ruzi, I mean, he needs to step up his game more so than ever. So I was happy to see that. Joel Hofer was in net. And I know what you're going to say. Hale, come on. Are you going to criticize him? I mean, sure, right? But at the end of the day, it's the defense that's the issue. And that is why this draft is so important because, yes, it's important in the sense that you could get a top 5 draft pick, but then it's also important if you do make these trades where you could get picks from the mid type of range, like 10 to 18 and so on. If you can have multiple picks in the first round that are more up high towards the lower numbers, higher draft picks, lower draft picks. I just confused myself. But the point is, listen, the point is, I do expect the Blues to get really good draft picks. We look at Joel Hofer, though, in his last 5 games. He's won 3 and lost 2. Now, I want to compare that, with Jordan Binnington in his last 5 games, who has lost 4 and won 1. So while I understand that right now there might be some frustration with last night's contest, I can't put that on Joel Hofer. But the reason why I bring this up is this. Do the Blues need another goalie in their system? Or can you count on Louvet being your guy that you're going to develop? I would say you should count on Louvet. I mean, he did help Sweden win the World Juniors. So, I mean, that's a big deal in itself. I believe it was like since 2012. It's been a while. We also need to talk about the fact that the developmental phases for goalies do take a really long time. That is going to be a challenge that I don't think the Blues should take on. While, yes, it is important to always have young goalie prospects in your system, I am also a believer that if you're looking for somebody to potentially replace Jordan Binnington, it should not be a draft pick. It should not be that type of goalie. And no disrespect to any of the goalies in the draft. I just personally think that it would be a mistake. But again, that's something that you can pick later in the draft. I feel like goalies don't go relatively early. But going back to the draft, as I mentioned, the 2 guys that I really like, I am curious, super curious as to what decisions will be made, the deciding factors, you shall say, after the deadline. And we're going to talk more about that trade deadline at the end of today's show because I have a lot of thoughts that are running through my head, all the things I'm saying really just make me, I don't want to say antsy, but I'm just kind of like to the point now where I feel like it's the same thoughts I'm having. I'm seeing rumors. I'm seeing so many things. And the draft this year might be the draft where the Blues finally are on top. I mean, we got Eric Johnson first overall. I mean, while EJ wasn't here for that long. Um, you know, and it's interesting, but I feel like we're destined to get the first overall pick. I mean, think about the Blues and the collapse that this team has had. And I don't feel bad for a team like Winnipeg because at the end of the day, Winnipeg still has a lot of good players that they could end up being a lot better next season. This season, they've had to deal with injuries. When the Blues are fully healthy, we suck. Like, that's the reality. So, those ping pong balls, by the way, I still have a conspiracy theory about them. They better work in our favor because I don't want to see a team again act. The Islanders. I still don't get it. I don't get how they got the first overall. I will always say that I believe it's because they took away the All-Star game in Long Island, and that's why the Islanders got the first overall with the draft. I really do. But these balls, man, these ping pong balls, they dictate a lot. And for us right now in the end of January to be talking about the draft, to be talking about the NHL entry draft for 2026, you know what it's telling me? That we're deserving of getting that first overall. I need you to tell me in the comments below. I know it's way too early. I know that. Who do you think is going to get the first overall in this year's draft? Because I really have a feeling that it's going to be the Blues. Listen, I don't say that often. I didn't say that ever actually on this show that I thought it was going to be the Blues. This is the first year where I genuinely feel like the Blues are so deserving of it, and this should be the team. And in that case, hashtag tank for McKenna, because I want Gavin McKenna to be wearing the blue note. Coming up, I asked you on Twitter at Locked On Blues for you to say one positive thing about the Blues, because we're going to go through a little exercise here called looking at the positive when everything else sucks. And it's an exercise I created out of my own frustration towards the Blues. All right, we're going to continue on right after this. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want a candidate who truly matches what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored job posts directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to hire a non-sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the show get a $75 sponsored job credit to give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. I want to talk to you about something really cool that the Locked On Podcast Network is doing, and that is the Everydayer Club. For $5 a month, yes, only $5 a month, you get to listen and watch Locked On Blues with no ads. On top of that, you are invited to an exclusive Discord where you can talk with sports fans from all over about all of the sports in one chat. It is so cool and so much better than Twitter because I am telling you, this chat is active. So if you want to join a really awesome community, and of course, you don't get any ads on any of your podcasts or videos, make sure to check out the Everydayer Club down below. I love it, and I hope to see you there. On Twitter, I asked you guys a very important question. Can you say one good thing about the St. Louis Blues from this season? The reason why I'm doing this exercise, it's very simple. I am very negative when it comes to the Blues. I am. I'm not going to deny that. I think that my negativity stems from what I've been seeing on ice all season with no change. It has been atrocious all season from literally game 1 against Minnesota. So it was Minnesota, right? Yeah. Anyways, I asked you all, let's get to it. Locked On Cardinals, and JD does a wonderful job with the podcast. But I know JD is also a Blues fan, and he understands the frustration that I'm going through and that all of you are going through. And he says the one positive is Joel Hofer's development. I agree. Joel Hofer has been playing so much better in net than he was at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, he looked horrible, okay? To the point where I thought the Blues were going to end up cutting him or trading him. It did not look good. It was not promising, and he's had to step up big time, especially with the Swiss cheese that's defense. So I have to say I am very impressed with Joel Hofer, and I can't wait to see what else he continues to do in net. We have Dane, and Dane says the youth playing on the big club. I can't wait for Jiricek next season. I cannot wait for Adam Jiricek too. You have no idea how excited I am about the defenseman Adam Jiricek that we drafted in 2024. Oh yeah, I had the first interview with him exclusively here on this podcast. You can definitely find it. The young guys, the Stenbergs, the Dvorsky, I mean, and even Snuggie, I mean, they have been playing good hockey, but I'm a little bit biased towards Dvorsky. Code said, haven't had a top 5 pick in a decade, so that's exciting. Hey, listen, man, I agree. Not starting on time says away jerseys are sick. Hey, can't deny that. We have Max who said, I saved some money because there's zero desire to watch such. Oh, he doesn't want to watch in person, but hey, you're saving money. So you know what, Max? I give you credit by you not going in person. You are saving money, but maybe tickets won't be as expensive. I always say go out and support them. We have a picture of Philip Broberg, and I agree. He has definitely been a highlight. We have David who says, I still like the new fits. I do too. Michael, I don't know if I like this one. This is Armstrong's final year. Now, okay, whoa. This is a really deep one. What I will say is this. I will forever appreciate Doug Armstrong as he brought our franchise their first Stanley Cup. That was insane. That was amazing. And Dougie A, we trust. Recently, though, this team has not been doing some good things with the moves and the signings and some trades. The offer sheets, that was pretty cool, okay? And that was recent. But sometimes change is good, but I have a really hard time going against my guy, Doug Armstrong, only for the fact that he brought us our first cup. And I'm like sentimental about that. And Chase said, Dvorsky hasn't looked completely lost despite being thrusted into a significant role as a 20-year-old. I agree. The thing with Dvorsky is he is so calm and posed on the ice, and he really is playing like he's in his sophomore season, not his rookie season. So I give him a lot of credit. Al said they finally let the kids play. We're getting a lot of those comments. We have St. Louis City SC fan, let's go, by the way, and said, stopping the cycle of firing the head coach when it's solely on the players. And thank you for this, because this has been something that's bothered me. I was really upset about Craig Berube. I was. And it's nothing against Drew Bannister when he took over, but you're going from Craig Berube, the chief, to Drew Bannister. And again, I give Drew credit. He did a great job with the T-Birds, but at the end of the day, I just didn't see the reason behind that firing. I didn't. With Coach Montgomery, I feel as if it is so obvious that there's nothing that he can do that's going to turn this team around. It is on the players, and the players, then it falls to the GM, because you're the one who is trading and signing and doing all the behind the scenes work, and this is not on the head coach. We have Bob, who said that he is embracing the rebuild. Chemo says Hofer is more than qualified to replace Jordan Binnington. That's interesting. I'm very curious about the Olympics before I dive more into that, but I'm curious to see how Binnington does in the Olympics. We then have Carl, and he says Justin Folk actually has been playing well, and not just offensively, in my opinion. Followed by Gregory, who says Justin Folk has 11 goals. This could also be negative because he is 1 goal behind the team leader. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's a really bad look. We also have a lot of draft pick talks. We have a lot of funny things. A lot of Hofer, a lot of Broberg, and a lot of stuff about the kids and the youth. So it's, you know what? It's positive. Look at that. Look at us. And by the way, the goal leader on the team with 11 is Jake Neighbors. Let me get back to my screen so I can see you. I mean, it's 12. Jake has 12. Justin has 11. So those were interesting, and I always appreciate what you have to say. I like doing segments like this where we react together, because I think that there is such a disconnect right now between the team and how we are feeling as fans. But we always have to look for something positive. I like a lot the youth. I've been enjoying to seeing Hofer play in net. Philip Broberg has been playing some of his best hockey, in my opinion. And that's all I have. I tried. The sweaters are sick, best in the league. That's all I have. Okay. Coming up, we need to talk about the trade deadline because it is almost time. And I want to kind of refresh you all on some of the rumors that are going down. And we need to talk about who I think the Blues are going to trade / move / just get rid of after this. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets that you like the most. And the boost, it gives you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. You make the picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Oh, yes, the trade deadline. We love the trade deadline. So, today, right? I'm going to focus on the players I think we're going to get rid of. And then I'm going to have a lot of fun telling you the players I think we're going to get. But I want to break it down because I don't think it's as simple as we think. I don't think the Blues should go after anybody. What? I know. The reason why I'm saying this is you still have to think about free agency, right? And you still have the summer. The reason why I'm saying right now don't go after certain players is it's not going to be worth the money. And let me explain. The playoff contending teams, they're going to be desperate, okay? They're going to want specifics. They're going to want like a 3C, um, the list goes on and on, right? I feel like if you wait for free agency or you wait until the off season, you're going to be getting much better deals on some of these players because right now, I mean, if you think about it, this is the last time that teams can make any sort of trade this season, right? And if you're a playoff contending team and your second pair left-handed defenseman is injured, well, you're going to be very desperate to get somebody, and the money won't necessarily matter to you, even if you're overpaying. And that is always how the trade deadline goes. It's one of two things. You're a team that's looking to clear cap space, or you're a team looking to buy because you literally need a certain player to help your team with the playoffs. For the Blues, they're in an interesting situation because they're a team that is not going to the playoffs. They're a team that doesn't have that much money left. And they're a team right now that has some pretty bad contracts. So if I were the Blues, and more specifically, if I was Doug Armstrong, which I would not want to be right now, I would look at this. Justin Folk has been playing really good hockey this season. Again, we want to hashtag tank for McKenna, so we're not focused on winning, okay? I feel as if Justin Folk is going to have a lot of value. I do. I feel like a lot of teams will be interested in him. I know, crazy thought, but they will be. I mean, hey, listen, the Sharks were interested in Nick Leddy, so like anything's possible, but I do feel like that's going to be a possibility. So if a team talks to you about Justin, it's time to say yes. And then you can give Jake the A. Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, the other big rumors. What do you do about Braden Shen, our captain? And this kills me. It depends on what he wants to do, right? Because a lot of these players, again, they have the no trade clauses. There's a part of me that really wants to see Shenner win another cup. And then there's a part of me that feels like he just is so content here. So it could go either way. We also have Jordan Binnington. Again, a lot of these guys, no trade clauses, or limited trade clauses. I think Binnington's limited, so there's specific teams. Is it time? I don't think so. I still think that he is a good goalie. I think that goalies can have bad seasons. But do I think it's a possibility? Absolutely. Robert Thomas. I did not like when these rumors began. It concerned me big time. I don't think it is worth it by any means to trade RT18. I think out of all players, he is the one guy that you keep. Even though I think he has a no trade clause, that's the point is, like, hypothetically, you don't want to get rid of Robert Thomas. Colton Parayko was another name. Again, it's hard because, like, you have to just imagine, like, this team has so many no trade clauses. It's insane. Like, I know Kyrie has one that kicked in last year. Like, this is the issue. So I do feel as if it's going to be up to the player, but I do feel like if there's one guy to protect, it's Robert Thomas. You want to have him. You want to make him feel like he, is in a good space if he makes a decision to stay and not move. But I'm also concerned about Oscar Sundqvist. I want to see an extension soon. I want to see an extension for Holloway. Like, there's things I want to see. And I feel like you're going to package some guys together. And that's what concerns me. I mean, we did extend Alexei Toropchenko. I didn't even mention this guy because this is how irrelevant he's been to me all season. No offense. But Bushi, yeah. Maybe he'll want to play for a contending team, and that will be that. But our group is going to be broken up soon. And that kind of sucks when you think about it like that. I really thought this group had something special when they made it to the playoffs last year. I did. I thought they were going to come back and just be even stronger. And the reality sucks. But change is inevitable. Doug's leaving. Who else is going to be leaving? We find out March 6th. That sounded so dramatic. All right, I will talk to you all tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.